That right now? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I will need some milk. That's it. Hey y'all, it's Curlinda and I am back once again coming here bringing you a fabulous video. Now I know you all see that I have the mixer out today, so guess what we are making? We are going to be making a lemon pound cake. Alright, I know y'all excited. So let's get ready, let's get set, let's get cooking. Alright, so to get started with our lemon pound cake, let me tell you what you're going to need. First off, you're going to need to heat your oven up to 325 degrees. 300 degrees if you are using a dark pan. You're going to need a bundt cake pan. You are going to need some baking spray. This right here is just the Walmart brand of baking spray with flour. You want to make sure that you have baking spray with flour, not your regular non-stick cooking spray like this. You don't want this, okay? You want this. So if you see that you have something like this or just the original kind, don't use that. You want to make sure that it has flour in it so that your cake does not stick to the pan, okay? You want to go ahead and rinse out your cake bowl if you're using a hand mixer, whatever bowl you're using. We are going to be using 1 box of Jello Cook and Serve lemon flavored pudding. We have 6 eggs that we have already cracked in a bowl. We have 3 sticks of butter. Y'all know I love my Imperial, y'all, so I got my Imperial butter on deck. We have 1 whole package of cream cheese. We have here our vanilla extract. We also have our tablespoon of lemon extract. This is a teaspoon, y'all, of vanilla. And then we also have 1/4 of a cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Now, this is optional along with lemon zest. I'm not adding lemon zest because I really don't like the bitter from the lemon zest. But you have the 1/4 cup of your lemon juice there. We have 3 cups of flour. And we also have 3 cups of sugar. So, to get started with our cake, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to put our butter inside of our cake bowl. And we are going to cream together our butter and our sugar. Okay? You want to cream it until it's nice and combined and fluffy. Okay? I'm going to let this go ahead and cream here in time lapse for you so that you'll be able to see how it changes. So what you want to do, we have our butter in our bowl. You're going to go ahead and add your sugar. And I must tell you all, our butter and our eggs and our cream cheese are all at room temperature, okay? So you want this to be room temperature. Room temperature is very important for the best results on your cake, okay? So, with that being said, we're going to cream together first our butter and our sugar. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. This is going to get really loud, okay? So, I'm not really going to be talking while this is going. And I'm going to let it mix for about 5 minutes. Let me say this before we keep going. When you turn your mixer on, you want to start on the low setting so you don't have butter and sugar flying back at you. Now you see this, we're about a minute in. What we're going to do is make sure we got everything from the sides of our bowl, like so. And we're going to just scrape the back of our spatula off. And we're going to go ahead and let it keep mixing. Now when I turn it on, I'm going to turn it a little faster so that it can whip some air into my butter and sugar. butter and our cream all combined together, y'all can see that it's really nice and whipped. Like, this is the consistency I look for, something that is whipped, okay? So you want to whip the air in. And again, I let this go for about a good 5 minutes. So that it can all get whipped up really good. Now the next thing I'm going to do to this is I am going to now add in my cream cheese. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to let my cream cheese combine and incorporate in here so it can whip up with this. Okay? Now you see what happened when we added our cream cheese in there? It gives us almost like the consistency of like whipped cream or buttercream icing, whipped icing, okay? And that's what you are looking for, because with this cream cheese in your cake, it's already going to be a dense cake, okay? But you don't want it so dense that your cake comes out and it's not completely baked all in some spaces. Like, it's kind of hard to explain it, but basically you'll have, I call them wet spots in your cake. If you ever put too much water in a cake before and baked it, and you see how it comes out like kind of gummy looking, that's kind of what I'm talking about. But anyway, we have this all whipped up here, y'all. That's what we are looking for. Something that's whipped up like this. Let me go ahead and wipe my hand off really quick. Now that we have everything all combined with our butter and our sugar and our cream cheese, this is our package of Jello. We're going to go ahead and sprinkle about half of this in and allow this to mix, and then once this gets combined in, we'll mix the other half. Alright, so what we're going to do is take this, scrape down our sides to make sure none of it sat on the sides. And we're going to add the rest of it in. And we're going to do the same thing again. Let that mix in there, okay? Now we have mixed in our pudding mix. And I must tell you, I'm using cook and serve. But if you go to the store and they don't have cook and serve and they have the instant lemon pudding, you can use the instant as well, okay? It all acts the same because you're not trying to add milk to it. You're just adding it, the dry portion of it, into your cake. I use the instant sometimes as well too. Matter of fact, I have a box of it up in my cabinet right now. Let me go ahead and wash my hand off because I haven't licked my hand. This tastes really good, y'all. Let me wash my hand really quick. Okay, so now that my hands are all clean again, here is the next thing that we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and add our vanilla, our lemon extract, our 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and now we are going to add our eggs one at a time, okay? Alright, so now that we have our eggs all in here, we are going to add our flour. Now, one tip I want to give you, especially all of my new cooks, you do not want to crack your eggs over your cake. Because if you get an eggshell in your cake, you're going to give yourself a problem. So crack your eggs and put your eggs in a bowl. Even if you crack them one at a time, if you're not advanced enough to put all 6 of them in a bowl at one time and pour them in one at a time like you saw me do, if you want to crack them one at a time, put them in your bowl and pour them like that, do that. But don't crack your eggs over your cake. Okay? So now what we're going to do here is we're going to add about 1/4 of our flour. And we're going to let this combine very well. Okay, now that we have that flour combined in there, we're going to scrape down our sides and make sure that we scrape our bottoms. Then we're going to add a little more. You want a smooth mixture, so you don't want to add all of your flour at one time because you're going to give yourself lumps. And the one thing you don't want to do, especially now that we've added our egg and stuff in here, is over mix your cake. As you can see, I'm only allowing this to mix until my flour gets combined in here. We're going to once again scrape down our sides to make sure everything is still nice and smooth with our batter. Scrape down your sides really well. I'm going to go ahead and scrape our blade also to make sure everything on this blade is pretty good and mixed up, okay? When you are making a cake, y'all, especially when you're making a cake from scratch, you do not want to rush your cake, okay? Because you will get a surprise in the end if you rush that cake. Okay, I'm going to slide this off, and then I'm going to add the remaining portion of our batter into our flour into our batter, okay? And we are going to allow this to mix. If you notice, the one thing that I'm doing is when I'm putting my blade back down and mixing in my bowl, I'm starting it off slow. You can always start it on your lowest setting and speed it up a little bit. But you don't want to start it high because you don't want flour everywhere. Even if you're doing with a hand mixer, okay? Same thing. You don't want it too high because you don't want your flour everywhere. All right, we're going to get this one final mix. Then we're going to get ready to put this in our pan. Here again, I mixed that until I got it all nice and combined. Now what I'm going to do is scrape my sides one final time to get all of this incorporated in. And I'm going to give my cake one final mix. Again, you don't want to overmix your batter. What you're seeing me doing now is I'm pulling up the batter from the bottom to make sure that I'm getting everything out of the bottom, because once we go to pour this into our pan, you don't want a surprise with dry ingredients down at the bottom. So what you can do is take it and fold it over like so. Show you again. Run your spatula, fold it over. That will let you know that you're picking up everything from the bottom all the way around there. Okay? Now let's give this one final good stir, and then we'll be ready to put it in our pan. And there we have it, y'all. I just gave it that one good zip in the end. Because again, you do not want to overmix your batter. Overmixing your batter can cause you to have a flat cake. Overmixing your batter can cause you to have a lopsided cake. Again, just like, you know, as I stated before to you about putting your things in accordingly and room temperature and so on and so forth. Overmixing your cake can cause your cake to cook unevenly. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove our paddle from our mixer. We're going to go ahead and remove our paddle. Take our bowl, set it to the side, and we are going to get ready to put this cake in the oven, honey. So now that we have our cake all mixed up, our final step is we are going to spray down our cake pan. You want to make sure you get the inside of your blunt pan as well as your outer parameter, like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to paddle your cake in. And you can run your bowl around so that you can get your cake in your bowl, like so. Turn your cake pan, do the same thing again. What we want to do is get our cake in here as evenly as possible without disturbing it too much. Alright, we'll put this final portion right over here. Now y'all see how nice and even and creamy and smooth this cake mix is? This is what you want. A nice, even, creamy, smooth cake batter. You see we took our time and mixed it. That's what you want, okay? Don't rush your cake. If I can give you any advice on making a homemade cake, it's don't rush your cake. Now what I'm going to do is slightly kind of wiggle the cake in the pan a little bit so that it can get even. And you see how I set that down on the counter? Not to make it all splash up, but I did kind of set it down a little firm. And my reason for doing that is if there were any air bubbles in my cake, it'll make them pop up. Okay, because if not, you don't want to have lumps in your cake when it's done from the air bubbles. So I'm just giving it a little good shake. And what I'm going to do is take this cake and put it in the oven. As I told you, we've already preheated our oven to 325 degrees. In my oven, I allow my cake to bake for an hour and 30 to an hour and 35 minutes. I will tell you, let your cake bake. Poke it with like a skewer until your skewer comes out clean, because everybody's oven bakes off differently. Okay. All right, y'all. So now that we have our cake in the oven, we're going to go ahead and let it bake for an hour and a half to an hour and 35 minutes on 325 degrees, or until the skewer comes out clean. Okay, that is very important. Again, guys, I know you've heard me say this to you a couple times, but I just want to reiterate: do not rush your cake. Okay, if you want great cake, don't rush your cake. Okay, that is for the best results that you can get. But do me a favor. If you have not already done so, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and click the subscribe button at the bottom of the screen, and make sure you turn your notification bell to all. That's the bell that has those two little quotations right beside it. That way, anytime I upload a video on my channel, you'll be notified of all the delicious dishes that I have coming out for you, and you'll be notified in real time. As always, thank you so much for allowing me to share the dishes that I prepare for me and my family with you and your family. It does my heart good to know that you watch my videos and that you get something out of it. If you decide to make one of the dishes that you see on my channel, go ahead and leave the picture either on your Instagram or your Facebook and tag us at Curlinda Can Cook, so that we can give you a shout out and show you some love back just as you show us, okay? Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and let this cake bake, and when we come back, I'm going to show you how to make the lemon drizzle to go on the top, okay? So our cake baked in our oven for an hour and a half. We just took it out. Here's what we have. And what you want to do when you cook your cake is you want to take it out of the oven and allow it to rest for about 10 minutes before you flip it off of your onto your cake plate. Okay, we are now ready to mix up our icing or our glaze or our drizzle, depending on what part of the world you're in. You know, it's whatever you call it. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to mix our glaze. What we have here is a cup and a half of confectioner's sugar. To that we are going to add 3 tablespoons of milk and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And that is squeezed lemon juice, not lemon extract. And we're just going to take our whisk and whisk it around together until it all comes combined like kind of a thick paste. Now you can use your mixer to do this. However, you know, why would you want to take out a mixer for that? As y'all can see how it comes off of the spoon. We're just going to let it flow back into the mixing cup. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our spatula, and we're just going to go around in there and pick up anything that is still dry with our spatula, okay? Because you don't want any loose crumbs on your inside of your glaze. Now this glaze is kind of thick because we want it to run on down the cake, but not all the way down the cake when we ice it. Also, when you ice your cake, you want to let your cake sit for about a good 30 to 45 minutes before you add the glaze to it, so that it doesn't melt away, okay? Now if you want to make this a little yellow, you can add you a couple dots of yellow food color to it, and a couple drops, and it'll turn it yellow for you, okay? That's if you just want a little hint of yellow. Now what I'm going to do is I have my cake here. I set my cake on my cake roller. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my spatula, and you could do this with a spoon or whatever, and you just kind of want to apply it in the middle on the top. And what it's going to do is it's going to run down the sides for you, okay? And you just want to turn it and keep adding like so. And as as you can see, what it's doing is it's sliding down the side of your cake. And that's what you want. Now, before it gets too stiff, you can take your spatula and gently push it. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Take your spatula and gently push it across the top. And it's going to make your drizzle keep going down the side of your cake. And see how it takes on a life of its own when you're just letting it drizzle right down the side. Now, if you want it a little thinner, just add a little more milk and it'll get a little thinner for you, okay? Also, you can drizzle it in another direction like this. But you see what's happening to it as we turn our cake around. It is actually doing its own thing, sliding down the side of your cake. Okay, I want to get that little bit off of my spatula, because we want all of this goodness, y'all, on our cake, okay? All of that goodness we want on our cake. And we're just going to let this settle. And if you see any imperfections before it sets up all the way, you just go back with your spatula and take them out. And there you have it, guys. Your cake, your lemon pound cake with your lemon glaze drizzle on the top. So there you go. I'm going to fix that because I wouldn't want that to stay there like that. That would drive me bonkers on my whole cake, y'all. You see there what I did? All I did was just took that and put it there. And that's going to slide down the side. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Let me know if you decide to bake this homemade lemon pound cake. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your opinion. If you try it, let me know how your family likes it. You know, make sure that you take a picture for us and you leave us a picture on our Instagram at Curlinda Can Cook. Also on our Facebook at Curlinda Can Cook. And don't forget to drop us a comment here on our YouTube page. So here we go, guys. We are all done. Now I'm going to take this cake and put it in my cake plate very nicely. And that's going to be our presentation on our table when we get ready to eat our dinner. As always, thank you for watching. I can't see you when you do like this. Come right here and do it. Now wave your hand right here. Now wave your hand. They can see you now. She finally said hi to y'all. So as always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share this video with a friend, a family member, the cat, the dog, everybody. Just share it. The neighbors, co-workers, everybody. And let them know where you found this great recipe right here with Curlinda Can Cook. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, stay blessed and remember to always be a blessing. See you in the next video. Y'all know my husband had to get the first piece of cake. So here we go, guys. We have us a very nice, moist piece of pound cake. I broke my cake, y'all. Gotta get my other little piece right here. Alright, here we go, guys. That right there? I will need some milk. That's it. Nice, moist, buttery. Like you could taste the butter coming through. The Imperial. Yeah, Imperial works wonders for a cake. The lemon and the contrast between the icing and the cake itself is not too lemony. The cake is not too dense. So yes, I hope you try this in your kitchen and let me know what you think when you make your very own lemon pound cake. I know it's rude to talk food in your mouth, y'all, but this pound cake is so good. It is so good. But yeah, so if you try to make this, let me know what you think. Make sure you post a picture on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever you are. Tag us so that we can shout you out back at Curlinda Can Cook. This was so good. I will see you. I will see you in the next video. Bye.